everybody, it's me, Shana Pilar. I have one of my very, very dear friends with me. Okay, so we've known each other for
a couple of decades.
So if you hear me call her Keisha, that's why, because I've known her, we go way back, but she is Holley. So
I'm really happy just to see your transition, what you're doing with your platform. So thank you.
You're one of my friends who always tries to hold me accountable for things that I'm going through. If I start something new,
I'm gonna check up on you.
Yeah.
Get you a girlfriend that's gonna check up on you.
You have to have at least one, and she's mine. Yeah.
There's a difference of just knowing people and really being connected with people. The people that you are connected with really wanting you to succeed as much as you want to succeed. And when I was able to surround myself around women that did so, or just people in general, that's when it all like started to click for me.
Yeah, like the thing that you and I were doing when we had those Grateful Threes for like that time period.
Oh, yeah.
I was so grateful for that too, because like that really helped to keep me in a positive space during a really dark period.
Wait, go into what we did with the Grateful Threes, just so the people know.
I just remember I had to remind us.
Accountability partner.
Yeah, exactly.
Girl, what you doing? Okay, so for me, I have guaranteed threes. Before I start serving anyone else, I serve myself by doing these three things. Reading my Bible, meditating, visualization, cleaning, making my bed up, whatever that looks like. I do three things for myself before I serve others. Having something that's repetitious of looking at the brighter side of things. So I think me and Shauna were just in this transition mode together where we're like, you know what? We need to focus our thoughts on the brighter side of things. And how will we keep ourselves accountable? Is it every day ask you how you doing? No. Well, let's reflect on our day and really be able to see those little moments of gratitude. Like, she did keep me on like who's one. Okay. So I went through a point in my life where like it was the expectation. I did something for you, so you would think that they would do something for me. I've like definitely grown and accepted the fact that people don't have the same exact way. Being the only one that would think about like, you know what, let me just send them a text message.
Yeah.
But not being the recipient of it. In general, of like just being that like nice person, that kind person, doing things just out of the goodness of your heart.
Yeah.
And not receiving it. And
I think that for me personally, if I can do something that somebody else can't exactly do back for me, that's fine. I do expect some acknowledgement. Like, hey, I know that you did this and I can't do that too, but here's what I can do. I do set an expectation. If somebody's not treating me how I feel like we have the kind of relationship where I should be getting more, like, hey, I don't really like what you're doing. I don't like how it's making me feel. This is something we need to work on. Can we work on it? Yes or no?
yeah. What has really helped me is just really loving people for who they are.
Yeah.
And then deciding, do I want that person to be in my bubble or love them from afar?
Right.
I just choose to love everyone the way that they are. Come as you are.
Yeah.
Let me decide if I want that person in my life.
Yeah.
Instead of, man, I can't believe you don't love me like I love you.
Yeah.
Although you will be lucky to find people who can reciprocate the love.
But it's true, you do have to love people for who they are. Otherwise you'll go crazy. And sometimes it's really hard because you love that person to an extent where you want them to have a higher position in your life. You want to be a higher priority for them. That just doesn't always happen. So you're kind of like, I love you, no ill will, but I'll be over here.
But even for my mama, she called me, I drop everything, go to my mama. I call my mama, she be like, girl, bye. And so you have to love people for who they are and not make it a transactional, like, I did this for you, so you do this for me. Choose who you allow in your circle, and the people who you allow in your circle will be those ones who you can count on because you've now place those people in your circle.
Yeah, be careful who you let in your circle.
Right.
Energy is real. Energy is real. So
let's talk about, I really found out the power of being solo when I started to travel alone.
I was shocked and amazed and like inspired and jealous.
No. Girl, you should tell the truth. No, when you go to a different country by yourself, for me, I was just so connected with God. I didn't feel alone. You sit down and you think about that concept and you take it back with you, and being alone, it sounds scary in the beginning. It's like jumping off a cliff, right? It's not that bad.
So, two things. Did you have any moments where you're like, I can't believe I feel like this? Or
one is the fact that I flew all the way there. I got off the flight, didn't have a hotel, didn't know where I was staying. My phone was dying, my computer was dying. The plugs were different.
Yeah.
So I couldn't just like plug in. And I was like, wow, like I knew I was bold. But like not that bold, and I have a hotel. No, maybe just like look at it when I get there. And I ended up having a decent place to stay, and
that's so crazy.
Just feeling so free and so connected at the same time. I remember the first time I went to the movies by myself. It was after a breakup. I was like, you know what? I'm gonna go to the movies. Like going to the regular movies by yourself, okay. If you really wanted to see that movie,
Right.
But no, go to the movie theater with the recline, the waitress. Do it for yourself.
It's like a pamper moment.
A pamper moment. The glass of wine there, you just relaxing, shoes off. Take some socks though. But
I'm gonna have to do that.
But I did that by myself, and I felt when I left the movie theater, I felt just like so like relieved and just like, wow. So you don't need somebody to go to the movie theater, and you can have a great like experience.
Yeah, I think it's so important when you go from a relationship to that moment. If I'm being real, that's one thing that I'm struggling with. And now it's like it almost feels like jumping off a cliff, like you said. Like I'm like, can I like make this plan without having to check about what Faye's doing? It's still like right here,
Some of the best conversations that I've ever had came from sitting next to somebody at the breakfast bar. And you leave the conversation just feeling like, oh, that was a great person, that was a great conversation. Those are those connections. Those are those moments that really feed our spirits. It's not about that person, it's about that conversation, how they made you feel.
You are like one of my good conversation people. Like your perspective, your outlook, even when you're being real and like maybe it's not what I want to hear, like it's super still on a positive note. Like, yeah, that friend, like that sucks, but what else can you learn from it? What can you take from it? What's your goal after this? Like, okay, you had your moment and then, move forward. And I think that's a really important thing because I feel like nobody talks to anybody anymore. For you to say like, yeah, I sat at the breakfast bar and talked to this stranger, like that's so important. It's so important to have connections like that with people. Even if it's just for that moment and you never see them again in life or whatever, you don't know how you've impacted them, and obviously you've taken a positive thing away from it, and that can feed your whole day.
I think find you somebody who's willing to understand.
Yes.
I think that is big, because I think like in a relationship, like arguing, right? Like think about it. Like if we have a conversation just to come to an understanding, and the understanding may be us agreeing to something, or it may just be, okay, that's your opinion and this is my opinion. But I think we should have a conversation and understand each other.
Yeah.
Right? Get you somebody who just would like to understand.
Somebody who's curious rather than accusation.
Yes, everybody is different, and some know how to show empathy more than others and all that stuff. But the least that we can do is let people know, like, hey, you know what? I get where you're coming from. Right? They just want to like be understood. They just want to say, you do? Like, you get where I'm coming from? You see?
You feel me?
And like, you don't have to. The thing is, yeah, I see where you come talking about. Yeah, like I see where you're coming from. No, you don't always have to agree with it, but can I see where you're coming from?
And sometimes that's like literally the difference between full on fighting with somebody and full on just being like, all right, she gonna do her, I'm gonna do me. Like,
and that's probably why, like, people probably don't understand our friendship. Wait a minute. You mean to tell me they're together?
Yeah.
That's because I was able to see you in a situation, and okay, like I'm looking at it from the outside. You know what I mean? And be able to evaluate it and be like, oh, okay, so that's what, okay. And then be able to pour into you, you know, and you be able to understand where I'm coming from, but you're still making your own decision. And I just accepted the fact that you made your own decision. I think in our friendship, we've just had a lot of just points where you've understood where I was coming from. You probably didn't agree all the time, because I'm crazy.
Like, I think that's so key, because there are times where we've both been like, but like the fact that we both listen to each other and let each other explain where we're coming from, and then can sit down, digest that, and still be like, but I love you.
Unless it goes against my like morals and my values, I probably won't surround myself with you.
Right.
But I'm not gonna judge you. Having non-judgmental friends helps you not necessarily like, you know, I'm not saying that I just want all my friends to call me and vent to me, because I ain't got time for that. It's talking about energy, I don't want that energy, okay? Now see, I knew she was one that she was gonna pick up the pieces and learn some. And look at now, we on it popping. Hey y'all, you know, just always just being that friend that, like, you know, at the end of the day, you can be open to them and say, hey, you know what? I know I'm crazy, and let me tell you why I'm crazy.
Right.
Wow, this has been good, friend. Well, first, thank you so much for just giving me this platform to open up with you. As you can tell, I got a little shaky earlier. That's because I strive to be great and I want to be successful. I think it's so important that we work on self.
Yeah.
You know, and see our flaws and be able to like work on ourselves. So if you think about it, if you can't spend time alone, how are you gonna fix yourself?
Right.
When the nights are cold, we first turn on Netflix, we're like, I wish I had somebody to get ice cream and pick up a cookie. But after we wake up and we feel so rejuvenated and so alive, like we can stop tricking ourselves that being alone is a bad thing and be like, man, I can't wait to eat that ice cream and cookie. This is a good thing. I can't wait to catch up on. This is a good thing. So then we have that feeling and it lasts us even through the night to the morning.
Yeah.
You know?
I never thought about it like that. That's why I love talking
We're
to
tricking
you,
ourselves
girl.
trying to think like, oh, I don't want to be alone. Why?
Yeah, why? I'm pretty good company.
Right. Find peace and joy with spending time by yourself. So if you're okay with being by yourself, there are going to be people that like want more and more of you. First, get right with yourself before you start dishing out pieces and pieces and pieces to others. So I'm going to encourage you guys to read the Bible. One. I'm going to encourage you guys to read The Energy Bus. Go on a date by yourself. Go do something that you like.
That's like a treat.
That? Like, whoa, I got to do that by myself? Go on a gratitude walk.
That's a good idea. I should have known this was going to turn into like a motivational, inspirational.
You done gave me a platform.
This is how we talk all the time. Like somebody else has to hear us talk.
Yeah.
I'm like talking about you. Like every time I leave Holley, like I'm just like, even when I come in a good mood, I feel like better, you know? I think that speaks to how, probably the type of friend you are, Avi, but like how you are trying to live your own life. Because when you live your own life like that, that's gonna radiate even when you don't try to. Like it's so important to try to come from a place of like positivity and love, and if you're treating yourself that way, that's gonna radiate into everything that you do.
You know, before I used to try everything, right? I read the book, I gotta listen to the podcast, I gotta watch the YouTube video, I have to. Now, it's not about that. It's about focusing on what makes you happy. It's not about how many things I can check off a checklist. No, it's about like, I was active. I got these 2 things done this morning.
Yeah, feeling accomplished, even
Feeling
personal.
accomplished. Yes, focusing on everything that makes you happy.
Did we do good or what?
I feel like we gave the people what they wanted. Some books, you got some action items.
It was a whole seminar.
We're gonna have to do like a rate and see who went on dates. How did these selfie dates go? Let me get a selfie pic.
Oh
like,
yeah, selfie date. Hashtag selfie date.
You know? Like, yes, let's do that. I'm gonna have to go on a date by myself too again.
I'm gonna have to do it for the first time ever.
Do it, do it. All right, well, thank you so much.
I love you, friend. And she got a gallery coming up.
Oh yeah, my art gallery. You guys are all invited. Please, please, please come out and support. November 15th, downtown at the Stewart. It's gonna be great. Music, art, and food. So come out, 7 p.m. November 15th. Thank you.
I got to.